Sweat Equity Podcast and Streaming Show, the #1 comedy business podcast in the world. Pragmatic entrepreneurial vibes with real raw dog talk. I'm your host, Law Smith, sitting on your left, my right on the, or your right on the tube, my
Nobody
left. Eric Redinger. Oh man, this is going to be a little bit sloppy, guys. We're doing this at a Sarina Fazan dining table. I got it right.
He got the name right for the first time. Well, actually,
Look, I want everybody to see the 4 Emmys in the background. We try to put that as a little bit of setting if you're watching us on video. We are 2020's best small, medium enterprise business advisory podcast in the United States. Yeah, that's an award. It's real. It's for sure real. You know how real it is? It came from Lux Global Excellence Awards, proudly hosted by Lux Life Magazine. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure to rate, give us a 5-star, write a little comment, subscribe. That's the cheat code that gets us up the podcast rankings. I really want us to get up the business podcast ranks because we don't belong there. And
Me too.
I think it would be really funny. You know, we're right there with Jordan Harbinger. We're right there with a bunch of other real business podcasts. This one is a little bit more authentic. We're doing a swap cast with Sarina's On the Record, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And we're on YouTube Live on her stream, so go subscribe over there. Is it Sarina Fazan?
Sarina
Fazan
All right,
TV.
this confirm.
Yeah, and then this episode of Sweat Equity is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Try expressvpn.com/sweat, like Keith Sweat. Get you 3 months free off an annual plan. What's a VPN, you say? It's a virtual private network. It's like a cloud computer in the sky. You don't want to be tracked? You want to go look at the office in Finland? Well, you can go to ExpressVPN. Try expressvpn.com/sweat, like Keith Sweat, like Montez Sweat, like Sweat Equity. Get you 3 months free off an annual plan. Who's doing that for you? No one's doing that for you. Don't be tracked by big data. Try expressvpn.com/sweat. That's the hookup. Holler if you hear me. Let's get this party started. Howdy toddy!
What about my sweat equity?
That's how we do it. You got to get fired up. You got to have the Sarina enthusiasm.
My sweat equity.
Sorry, I tried to move from the mic.
What about my sweat equity?
It's a little wobbly.
I'll fix it in post.
Oh, see, that's what I love. Fixing it in post. That is so impressive. I am
Thanks,
not.
Serena.
No, seriously, you guys are great. I mean, I don't know what I would do without Joe Papadopoulos helping me now. Because let's face it, technically, no, we just talked about this before going on the podcast. Am I allowed to speak now, or?
Yeah, you're good. I'm listening.
Okay,
I
so-
thought I was trying to listen.
It's her house, right?
Yeah.
You're saying it like he hollered at you.
Can you? But you got to get up on that mic. I
Okay,
think.
got it. No, what we were talking about.
You can point at her. So Kimber is our associate producer. She's going to point out when we're away from the mic. That's her job.
You know what? That is a great idea.
Yeah.
When you can't hear us, point at us.
Yeah. Yeah. See, he's away from the
See?
mic.
That
Yeah.
was a good
great.
test. I
Mhm.
was away from the mic. Good job.
Kimber Papadopoulos. Is this her first executive producing job?
No, well, not executive producer. That's a,
First of many.
that's a quick promotion. Associate producer.
So Sarina, on
Yeah,
the
okay.
record,
On the record.
it's been going really strong. I see you're getting a lot of good guests. I saw you had some of my marketing friends on recently. Tell me where you're going with the podcast, why people should get into it. I'm going to hijack
No.
your style of investigative reporting.
No,
like
you know
this.
what? I really appreciate you asking me that question because you guys have honestly been there for me from the very beginning. And if it wasn't for the two of you, I wouldn't even have had a podcast. You guys are the ones
We're
that
basically both Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they both pushed
Can't
me
both be
into
Jesus.
having a
Okay.
podcast, and I love.
Mary
And the
Magdalene.
podcast is my favorite part. So, thanks to CP Communications and Red House Streaming, which is in St. Petersburg, Florida, they are actually carrying my podcast now on a news set. So, something that I'm very familiar with since I was on television news for so long. So, the facility is absolutely amazing, and it's an honor to be there.
Well, so you did something that was really smart, and this is let's kind of. I'd be remiss if we didn't throw in a little bit of kind of businessy kind of talk. Is that you realize that it might be better to partner with someone that could go, hey, I'm peanut butter. Their chocolate. Let's make a Reese's peanut butter cup kind of thing. And so it seems like you got a great partnership. What?
Interesting choice. I'm just that's an interesting combo. I mean,
What-
who didn't think he was going to say jelly?
I know.
Who didn't think that?
Yeah.
We all thought he was going to say jelly.
When I zig, when you think I'm zigging, I'm zagging. Right. That's the stand-up.
Zag Ziglar.
Hey, jokes are magic tricks. Remember that. I just watched The Prestige, so I think I know magic.
I did too.
By the way, there's a candy called Zigzag.
Oh yeah, we know. And there's something else you can zigzag you can use for something else, but I won't say it because there's children at the table. But what I was saying is you did something that a lot of people sometimes don't realize. It's kind of know what you don't know, right? And so you go, hey, I'm not strong over here. I think I could partner with these guys. And honestly, you have a set over there that Eric and I are jealous of. I see it every time I see it on social media. I'm like, I kind of want a new set. That looks cool, even though we have no business being there.
Yes, you do. And you know what is
No.
so great? No, but
We
you know
do
what?
not.
Well, let her finish.
Okay.
Yeah, of
We
course
might
you
get an
guys do.
invite
And
to
you know
this.
what's so great about Red House Streaming, though, and CP Communications, honestly, is that the way everything is changing now, everybody wants their own newsroom. Everybody wants they're doing their own podcast, right? But you can have your own set, and they make it possible. In my story, what happened, the CEO and the general manager had been watching my podcast that I was doing, and they
Cool.
asked if they could take my podcast and take it from there, because they just launched the Red House streaming aspect of it. And for me, I mean, what an honor and privilege. I said, of course. And
But you not to discount any credit from you had been working hard at building that brand for literally years. I don't consider them a Johnny-come-lately, but let's face it, you laid all the groundwork. You got up to 50 plus episodes. You developed a following. You know what I mean? You kind of proved the concept. And why shouldn't you be in a nice state-of-the-art place?
Thank you so much, Joe. That was such kind words. Thank you, and I appreciate it. They did base it. The owner and the CEO and the general manager did base it on my reputation in the Bay Area for landing, exclusive interviews, all the hard work that I've done as a journalist, and then my podcast. And now I think it's up to 70 episodes. But at that point, when they started taking it from their studio, it was close to 60, and I proposed the idea of doing Super Bowl shows because, of course, that was an unprecedented time, and for us, it was fantastic.
No big deal. Yeah.
My producer's giving me notes. Okay.
Really, what did Kimber say?
She said you need to talk into the mic.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean,
I'm
Sarina,
kidding.
you act like
her dad's an audio engineer.
Yeah.
you act like
He's a big deal.
they would have anything if you weren't attached to it. It's not like they got the Sarina Fazan podcast and they're like, yeah, you're getting replaced.
Oh.
But I mean, seriously, it's not like they could just, that's the part of it where you're so thankful.
And you're genuine, and you're not just putting that on when you're thanking them. That is you. That's what the good thing about having a podcast is we're in this weird kind of world where we're in way more sound bites than ever. And then people are finding these longer form conversations that are a little bit more authentic. So if anybody thinks you're kind of putting it on almost in a way like, the Southern women be like, bless your heart kind of thing. It's not that. What you're saying when you are grateful, it is genuine. And I'll vouch for that. Eric will
yeah.
vouch
Oh
for
yeah.
that.
Oh, when we were working
Joe would
together, I had
vouch
to
for that.
constantly be like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you acting like you're not, it's good. You're
Yeah,
good. You're good.
So the
Like,
way we met was that kind of thing where you were kind of figuring out your next move, and we had to be like your male cheerleaders. Like, what are you talking about? We used to watch you
just
on.
cheerleaders would have worked.
Yeah, but male cheerleaders are specific. They're a weird breed, I think. I always say I'll be your biggest male cheerleader. If you tell me you want to do something, I will probably annoy you about you wanting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we met through a mutual friend that that what's it called? She's tough.
She's
but
on
fair.
it.
She's
She's
tough,
on it.
but
She
fair.
wanted to make sure that I was on my microphone.
She's floor directing right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it. 6 years old and already a floor director as well.
So put it on the resume. Let's get you a LinkedIn profile. And so
You want to be our intern?
yeah, we need help. And so my thing is, you were doubting yourself with a lot of self-talk about not being as good as you are, which I get. Look, I get it. I think about it all the time. You can have a lot of radio noise where you're just kind of like, or imposter syndrome is probably the more formal term of it. But we were kind of being like, what are you talking about? First off, every time we have you on our podcast, we let you hijack it because you're a better interviewer.
Way easier on
No.
us. So much
They're
easier.
so sweet.
Yeah, when we have you on as a guest, we go, oh, this will be an easy one because we know like we can go, oh, she's gonna ask a lot of questions, so we don't have to really think about it. Not that we do a lot anyway, but that's more my laziness, I think, with it. But I think what you did was really smart. You kind of had an ego death in a way, and you saw that, and you go, okay, I got to work on this brand, and it's not going to happen overnight. Where are we? Fast forward 3 or 4 years from when we all first met.
Yeah.
I think it's only I think it's only been 2. Can you believe it?
No way.
No way.
I think so.
No
right?
way.
It's longer than that.
Really?
It had to
Is
be
it
at
3?
least
Gotta be at least
2018.
3, yeah.
I can earmark it by the drama of my household
Oh my god.
pre-divorce.
Yeah.
So
Got some mental markers.
because I remember
No.
coming in to help you, and I was like, on my head, I don't even know. I can't even help you.
You just figure it out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. That button does something. I remember coming in on like a Sunday to help, like go over it with you, and I was like, I'm frazzled. I got nothing. So I can kind of earmark it by drama or trauma, whatever you want to call it. But tell us now. So you're at this area. I'm always interested. You get to a point, and you call it like a workout plateau almost. You get to a point where you're like, I've gotten here, but it being content is kind of the worst thing in business, right? So what are the kind of plans going forward? What do you want to do with your podcast, or what do you want to do with your brand? And if you don't have an answer, I can kind of vamp. if you need.
No, you guys are so amazing, and to ask me those questions too. So for me, I mean, this is just the beginning, right? I mean, there's so much I need to do with the podcast. I need to build viewership for my own show. I have to say, I love having my own show for many reasons, because I am so passionate about people sharing their journeys, sharing their stories, and having your own show. As you guys both know, you're an executive producer as well. You determine who's on the show. You determine the length of the show. Now, as what we were talking about earlier, it's amazing, like, going on YouTube Live. So I have so much more to do, guys. I mean, this is just the very, very beginning.
So no, but that's all good. But I'm gonna hammer it. All right.
Wants answers.
Okay,
you know.
all
Well, no,
right.
I want goals. I want smart goals. I want something that goes, I
Well,
want
okay.
X amount by whatever. or-
Oh, okay. And maybe people who are listening to your podcast, watching it on YouTube, can help me achieve those goals.
if anybody wants to go back in Sweat Equity episodes in January, I threw out, here's the 20 goals I want to do this year. It's a little vulnerable, not great, not fun to do, but there was an accountability thing to it, and there's more people that I didn't realize that I'm friends with that actually listen, because your friends are like, I can hear you for free whenever I want to call you, kind of thing, and I don't really want to talk to you that much, so so I realized more friends of ours listen and were calling me out on some of the stuff I had out there as I was listing about 20 goals. So I didn't know if you had anything kind of.
Definitely. Okay. Do you guys want to hear some of the goals?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is a good number, do you think, of people? I would say at least per episode, I would want 10,000 people at least at a minimum to start watching the episodes.
Watching it.
At least, when I go
On
live.
which platform?
Like when I start going live on YouTube,
Okay.
I would
on
love
YouTube.
to have, at least like 10,000 start
How many
to watch.
subscribers do you have now? Do you know?
So I don't have that many subscribers.
we
I
don't
have,
either. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no, no,
curious to
no.
do
That's
the
a really
math.
good question. So my
Subscribe
social,
1100
about 1,100
on YouTube.
on YouTube, and it's climbed
It's about
ever since.
1,090 more than us.
years. But I used to have a huge following on Facebook for years, and then I relaunched all my social sites. Right, so now
Really? When?
when we started to work together, so I had to
Oh,
relaunch.
okay.
So I had to relaunch everything. So I
I
have
thought you
close
did
to
it
4,000
again.
on Twitter. No, no.
My
Yeah.
God.
Yes. No. So, because I feel like the topics we talk about are so important and are interesting. Like just on my last podcast, I had a mother who decided to be a surrogate for 2 dads in France who desperately wanted a baby. And then I had an attorney also come on just to talk about on how to protect yourself, but I mean, there's just so many topics. Another goal though, so my friend, as I mentioned, Joe Papadopoulos is here. So Joe and I used to work together at a former television station.
So long ago.
Yes, and so my email is Sarina@SarinaFazan.tv. Now, Eric.
Just gave that out on there. All right.
Yeah, well, Eric was going to, Eric was.
I set it up.
Yeah, he set it up for me.
Yeah.
He set it. Your Eric right here set up my email.
My Eric.
Yes. So I would like
My
an email that says
heterosexual
Joe@SarinaFazan.tv. So here's the other goal I want. Things that I would like to showcase what I feel I'm the best at, and that's sharing people's stories. The technical aspects, the other stuff, keeping me in line, I have to say, because I am all over the place.
It's a full-time job.
Yes. And I would love one day, on the record, for Joe Papadopoulos to have that job.
Well,
Wow.
Wow.
It's this magic moment.
Yeah.
I have
Wow.
I have a
We
lot
didn't
of-
plan this.
I have
Are
a
you
lot
gonna
of
get down on one
jobs
knee, Sarina?
already. I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
I'm also a dad, and
But you have wisdom. I can already tell before we're setting up that,
And you're a teacher.
and you're a teacher.
I'm a teacher. That's right.
Which is the hard. It can be the hardest after you have. So we talk about wisdom being knowledge times experience, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of guys in our marketing community that we were kind of really in before that have what they call the Dunning-Kruger. They watch one YouTube video and they think they know everything. Which I think wisdom is a commodity now. Like it's something that you're seeing a lot of people commoditize IP, right? Go, I know this. I'm going to teach a course on it, or do your own thing. Be entrepreneurial with it. So I cut you off though, and I tend to do that.
No, I was saying really what I wanted to say was how flattering it is that she would, want me to take on such a large role in her brand. Listen, I like helping friends of mine. I have,
Sure.
a line out my classroom door of teachers who need and want my help, and I'm always happy to help from video editing and things like that, shooting. They all have programs that they need shot and edited in the theater. My friend here, Sarina, of course, other people outside in some of the business relationships that I have, they're always, calling or whatever. I love helping people, and I want to help everybody. My only issue is that there's only 24 hours in a day.
Right.
If there was 30 or 35 in a day, I would be as happy as a pig in slop, because I could get everything that everybody wants done. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I have to pick and choose, and I also have to work smart, not hard.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the part of us doing this podcast, I was just having a conversation with, my new CEO. And I was like, they want to get a podcast started, and I go, look, Eric and I have been doing this about 5 years. We've got it down pretty streamlined as far as time spent on it. And that was a focus when we started it. We can't spend a lot of time doing it. We should probably do a couple more things, put a little bit more time. And one thing that I had a mentor kind of tell me, and this isn't to say against your schedule, I'm just saying for anybody listening, that if you've ever put out your schedule, first off, if you've ever tracked your time diligently for like a week, you'll find
just started doing that.
you will
Can I-
find
can I mic?
you will find how much time. I have a problem where I'll think about doing a lot. I was having a problem. I was thinking about a lot of stuff and not doing. Right. It's common. There's a lot of people have that, right? And I kind of been trying to knock that off. Call it whatever. But that one thing where our mentor was talking to us about, why don't you do your schedule and break out every 15 minutes of your day? And you're like, okay. And you do that every morning, and you look at it and you go, I'm not trying to find you more time. I'm not making this specific to you. I'm just saying, this is something common with everybody I talk to.
Bill Gates does it every 5 minutes.
Well, attorneys billable hour sometimes every 6 minutes. So one of those things, oh my God, we got to get you off
No,
this daily
but
planner, but
This is
whatever
no, but
works.
Look at this though. It marks the time. Because I was thinking the same thing. What am I doing? Why am I so frazzled at the end of every day? How much did I get done? So I'm one of those people, again, a little technically challenged. But take a look at this.
Fine, if that works for you though, that's great.
But it blocks out that I worked on a Tampa Crossroads, which is a local nonprofit agency, on this particular day for so many hours. Then I did a One Blood. Work with them. Then visit Tampa Bay, which I'm so humbled and honored by being named the host of their podcast. Then I've been put here personal emails back to One Blood, a shoot. So it just, at the end of the day, then I can look and think, what happened to my day? I can actually see it. But I think it's a very good
twofold.
point.
You do it proactively, and then you have to. One thing I wasn't doing for a couple of years is I wasn't assessing, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking back where the time went and going, am I spending time in the right? So when I had my agency, I was trying to do business development to track bad. I knew they were bad clients, but I was spending way more time trying to track down these clients just to get it going.
And emotion.
Yeah. And it doesn't help you sleep. It affects a lot of stuff. And making decisions emotionally over rationally a lot of the time, that'll mix into it. So I found out it's kind of twofold. It's like you got to schedule it out, but you also have to assess. Go on a front porch or go on a walk and look at the time and go like, okay, am I doing the things I want to do? And this sounds very simple and kind of almost overly simplistic, but you'd be surprised if you actually do it. You'll find I'm not saying there's enough hours in the day. You'll find more hours, kind of thing. And maybe this is because I've been in project manager mode for like the last month, what I'm doing with work. But you're keeping me on.
To a lesser degree, I just started doing stuff where it was like, okay, I got to make this phone call. Realistically, how long is that going to take? 10 minutes? Where
Right.
it's like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I got to call that guy. It's going to, and I don't. It turns into something it's not. If realistically, it might be a 5-minute call instead.
If you can spin that into I don't have to, I get to sometimes.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
That's a big deal.
It's the mindset.
Yeah.
You're right, because I do struggle with that a lot. Joe, were you going to say something?
Well, here's what I struggle with.
And I didn't want to make that personal. I just
No,
want to make sure.
you're not. But you're right. Even if I were to, and my day is pretty structured. I have a bell schedule. I have students. I have to say, my day is more
Kind of
structured
awesome.
than anybody's.
Did you just come up with a brilliant app?
Well,
School bell app.
When you're a teacher, you have you know where you're going to be every 46 minutes. So, but beyond that, beyond the structure of my day, I have so many things going on that I struggle with prioritization.
Right, so that's kind of what I'm getting to, right?
I want to take the low hanging fruit and just knock it out.
Yeah.
But there's so much low hanging fruit that I find myself literally in the weeds, and then it's hard for me to get to the stuff that either makes me money or allows me to pleasure. It's like I want to get to that stuff, but I have so many dumb little things that I find myself having to do.
But are they dumb and little, or are they just?
I mean,
but if you didn't,
paying, it's the
but you got to do that.
Answering the emails, it's the renewing the insurance,
Right.
It's the
But you still got to do it.
you got to do it. But
This
man,
is the best invention and the worst thing. A phone, right? This thing, I think it's the best invention of the last 50 years, right? But it's a blessing and a curse because it's everywhere, right?
Mhm.
So when we think we're being productive with this thing, it's not. If I can, I'll just put my phone down. I almost throw it away like I want to run in the forest, because I won't be able to focus a lot of the time. I found out when I did that, and I got away from that because you can create more tasks. There's a never-ending to-do list for everybody, right? I think what you're talking about, there's two strategies to it. There's some people like to eat the frog, do the hardest thing first, right, and get that out of the way. Or it sounds like you're doing the small wins theory, where, hey, I like checking off a few things. I'm gonna stereotype. You're audio guy. You're probably very particular, right? So you probably like a little bit more admin, clerical to get things going.
Yeah.
To kind of build inertia, right?
Yeah.
So just like Eric and I have talked about this a lot on the podcast too. It's just like dieting, right? Like everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to work differently, but you have to treat yourself It has to be your own. You have to be your own guinea pig.
Yeah. How do you feel best at the end of the day? By putting a little bit of time into just watching TV for half an hour or whatever it is, that'll make you feel better mentally, or like not doing it at all because you feel guilty about watching it for half an hour. That's up to you. That's going to be like, you got to address that, for yourself sort of thing where it's like,
And then
and not like
but
I'm
it's
good
boring,
at it either.
But having kids,
Yeah.
What we're talking
kids
about-
exponentially
Yes.
Sure.
changes you both are dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hijack
Your
your life.
kids are
for
younger
sure.
than mine. I remember when mine was 4, how much I don't want to say time suck as a bad thing, but it's a time suck. You cannot knock out a quick edit or make a quick phone call
Right.
because you feel guilty and you want to spend time with them.
Yeah. Oh,
But
and
that
if you're not
time
engaged with them,
goes so quick.
and if at least my kids are like, you're not looking, you're not actually doing
Right.
what you're
Yeah.
saying. I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay. So now we're doing it for real. Now I'm
Yeah.
being a dad. It's like, oh my, but you're right. And they're a wild card. You never know what you're going to be putting into
Right.
it. It's tough.
But yours.
But
is
you're a good
13.
dad.
Yeah, mine is
You're-
13, and the time goes by way too fast because it's true. Now she doesn't.
I know.
Like, she doesn't want to be around
I don't
me,
know
right?
for
I
you,
mean,
but-
yeah, like they
Well,
just.
you're in
not
that.
she
You're in
doesn't-
that zone.
Yeah, I'm in that zone where she has a lot of friends too, and she has the time with her friends. But I have to say, like yesterday, I was not feeling well at all, and she was there right by my side, making sure that I was okay. It was
When it
really
matters.
sweet.
So Joe, I can tell is a good dad because I'm getting associate producer notes.
What is
No,
she-
it's good.
what is
It's,
she
it's a good
telling?
note. When we're too loud, she's going to raise her hand. She's
Okay.
giving us a signal.
What is she?
I love it. I think
She has an internal RTA.
I want her to
by the way.
babysit my kids.
Who knows what an RTA is?
Nope. We live in a world of acronyms. I can't keep up.
A real-time
time.
analyzer.
Okay, great.
I got
Don't
real
you
time,
have one
right?
of those on your rack?
Yeah. It's down there.
Yeah.
Yep, one of those.
Are you A-weighted or are you guys A-weighted or C-weighted?
I'm going to get a beer while you answer these questions.
Okay, can I put something on the record as we digress in talking about Kimber Papadopoulos?
Before I
Even
answer.
before Joe had Kimber Papadopoulos, Kimber. So Joe and I, your
It's
dad
not
and I,
him.
have worked together for years and years and years. And so he told me, I am going to have a daughter one day, and I'm going to name her Kimber Papadopoulos. And so I said to him at the time, I said, Joe, I said, not Kimberly, not Kimberlyn, no, but he's like, no, it has to be Kimber. And so then I said, but what if your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, does not says no to Kimber? And he said, that's not going to happen because my daughter will be named Kimber Papadopoulos.
Well, if you
And
add,
here she is.
That was 10 years ago, right?
if you add another
That was
syllable,
10 years ago. My daughter's 6.
Papadopoulos has a lot of syllables.
A
You
lot
do
of
any if you
syllables.
Kimberly Papadopoulos, you're adding those things on big time.
Kimber Papadopoulos. But yes, she is quite something, isn't she?
But you guys, so okay, I love throwing in like the stories, right, and personal elements. But you guys brought up a very good point because I have a question as an entrepreneur.
We're very good.
So yes, no, you guys are very good, and I'm so impressed with
I just like
everything you guys have
I like
done.
doing a Donald Trump self-promotion. I think it's funny to me.
But I have a question,
We're the
and
best.
it's a question for
Trump
advice.
steak in this town?
What's up?
Can you get a Trump steak in this town? Because I feel like as
allowed?
I don't want to talk about a politics thing here, but like him or not, I feel like I want to try a Trump steak. Is it good? I mean, if it's a great steak, I'll
What?
admit that it's a great steak.
It's like taking the Johnson Johnson shot right now. I don't know. This seems risky.
Said he doesn't want to make it political.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I wasn't bringing up anything. No. Look,
I didn't know. I was like, you mean like a steak in one of his companies? I didn't
No,
know.
Trump-
he
he
Trump
sells
steak.
steaks.
he had like
I'm sure
Omaha,
sells a,
he had
a
like
box of
I'm
steaks.
sure they're the
somewhere.
best.
he had like an
Sure.
Omaha steak company. They're huge. But it was one of
That means you're too loud of her.
ooh girl. I love it. You're doing great, Kimber. All right, so I cut in. What were you about to
Well,
ask?
the advice, and so Joe had brought it up too about when you look at your tasks in your life and you want to prioritize, and there's things that you need to get done. And when you were talking about, you've got to pay the insurance, you've got to do this, you have to do that, which we do. And Eric, what you were talking about, watching, you can choose to watch like your half-hour show or choose to work. So what I have found, I do work a lot, but sometimes I'll sit there and watch Grey's Anatomy, right? Like, try to get caught up for 45 minutes. And then I do feel guilty because I think, okay, these are 45 minutes where I could have done a project or worked, but the projects I'm not good at. So here's my question, the bottom line. the projects that you're not good at or you struggle with. For me, the technical stuff, the bills, this and that. Do you hire out?
Yeah,
Do you try to
if
find?
you can.
But what if you can't?
Play
So-
to your strength. Well, I mean, then you got to work around it. I mean, if you asked, should you hire out? So I'm assuming you can.
You don't delegate out until you have to.
Yeah.
I
I can't hire out. I can't completely hire out yet. And Eric, you've been there with me from the beginning. You and Law both have been there. But I guess the question is to ask you, you guys, do you have to? You know, people always say you have to spend money to make money, right?
I don't know. I don't know if this is related or not, but I used to be one of these control freaks where I would do everything myself. Everything.
Right.
I would get off the air at 11:30.
Right.
You know, from working the night shift. I would drive home and I would put my SUV up on ramps and I would change my own oil. And I was thinking, hey, I'm not only am I saving money because I could, let's say, change my oil for $12 or pay
Right.
the 24, you know, to get it done. So in my mind, I'm saving money. But I thought there was this stupid sense of pride of doing it yourself because you're doing it right. And I'd listen to I'd put the music on, and you know, I one day I just remember I'm in my slop sink in my garage, getting cleaned up after an hour of watching oil drain and lubricating my drive shaft, and it's not a euphemism. You know, adding
It's a G-rated show.
adding the differential fluid, like I'm doing the whole thing. And I literally bought a grease gun. Like I was over the top
Okay.
in my garage. And then I think about those days in my mid to late 20s while I'm now in my early 40s, and I'm thinking that was such an unnecessary time suck.
Yeah. Cost benefit.
Because
Exactly.
I'm not a NASCAR pit crew chief. This is it was a late 90s SUV that had no like, why didn't I just go to the Jiffy Lube every 3 months instead of being a jerk and thinking that I was saving time? I wasted so much time for zero benefit. All I did was get dirty and spill, probably over the 10 years I lived in that house, maybe 5 gallons of oil on the garage.
Sure.
Little just drops here and there. You know, what was I doing?
So
If I had that time to do all over, like wisdom, if you had your wits about you, then like you do now, you would not make as many time mistakes.
it's like an old Catholic thing. Oh, my hat fell off. God, I was wearing that to the Kentucky
What hat?
Derby. You don't have to get it. Don't worry. What is it? The unanalyzed life is not worth living. It's like Socrates or Catholicism philosophy. Those are the things that's kind of what I was talking about with the time thing. You can get your thank you.
That hat.
Thank you. My head is like
You look like a Peruvian woman.
Thank you. I
They
take
all
that as
wear
a,
hats like that.
I
all
take
the
that
time.
as a compliment.
I know, but your head's gigantic.
I
That's why it
know.
looks
Peyton
that way.
Manning thinks I have a big forehead. So it's one of those things where, you know, you can add endless things to your to-do list like that, and you can never sit down and recognize. I always talk about like have a glass of whiskey on the porch and kind of think about the day, and you can go back and go, do I need to do that? But I bet you weren't, because you probably had other things you were doing too. Now I'll counter this too. I'll be a hypocrite in one way. I think it's good to figure out projects. Now tasks is one thing, but projects where you're figuring out stuff where you've never done it before, I think that's cool. I think that helps. Like I would want to take some kind of auto mechanics class because I don't know anything about it. But is it for me to fill up my calendar with menial tasks, you know, like that? So you have to find that cost benefit, like Eric was talking about.
You know, the problem was in between 2002 and probably 2005, I had no girlfriend. So I would just go.
Well, I was going
I
to
had
say it's
no
about. Is that
girlfriend.
going to make you feel better about
Listen,
yourself?
Yeah.
I had no girlfriend,
Sure.
but I had 3 cars. I had a 1981 and a half Datsun 280
1981 and a half.
No, they had half years back then.
Yeah, they did.
So I had
They did.
they did. I had a Datsun
Because we were talking about the half year.
280ZX.
That's how I.
With the
that's my
T-tops.
kids' ages.
Yeah.
is my
So
halves.
I would change that oil prematurely, by the way, just to do it.
You're like this baby ain't hit
my
three
parents had the
thousand
same
miles.
1,000 miles. Got to change the oil. Got to change the oil. Then I had my regular daily driver, and then I had my SUV. I'm unnecessarily changed. I feel like I kept Quaker State in business, being just in those 3 years.
Now so anybody listening that may be younger, that's something to take away.
They
What
don't
do
know
you
what a Datsun is, by the way.
for sure. They
It's
don't
like
know
it's
what
like
an
a-
oil change
It's
is.
like a pointy Tesla.
And I know that we are like way going over on your podcast time too. by the way.
Look, I'll go deep as far as Eric will let me, but I don't know what time we have.
We're gonna wrap this up in 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah. I told you what time.
Kimber Papadopoulos,
Wow.
3 minutes, girl.
Flex. All right.
I'm done talking.
All right. So,
And maybe the next time we can talk about my favorite topic.
Don't.
love.
in America and dating in America with these three
put all this-
fine young gentlemen.
I put all
But
this garbage
I
businessy
can't
stuff.
have Kimber Papadopoulos here. I'm
For
sorry.
the flower
She's-
girl.
Yeah,
Plus-
you are the flower girl. I love it.
Wow, you're going quick.
Oh
Kimber.
my. Okay, Kimber.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Yes.
I'll be the ring boy.
If you
Okay.
keep talking about what catches we are and all that,
Well,
we're
we gotta
down.
wrap up
but
the podcast.
No,
before-
So,
I just
here-
didn't realize it was 6:30.
here's what I'll say. Let's give some call to actions. On the record, you can't be a good marketer if you don't have the call to action, right? On the record,
I taught my students what a call to action was during their PSA assignment.
teach them the sales funnel, and that'll help them learn everything. That call to action sales funnel.
Kimber. We're wrapping up.
It's all right. She's giving productive notes. On the records on Apple Podcast app, Spotify,
Eric set it up. Actually, it's on all. It's on all.
Google,
All of them.
Google Play. All right.
Yeah.
Now YouTube channel, Facebook, Sarina Fazan,
Media.
dot media. Okay.
Thanks to Eric.
Okay.
And .tv works. And .com.
Eric set everything up for me.
Yep.
Yep. He's a champ.
Your two lights are out.
I know. I need to get.
That's
Oh,
important.
We
I
got
need
to
to
do
get-
this
that's
over.
too.
Hold on.
Wait, that's important. Hold on.
Redo.
Wait, hold on. We got to just do this again. No, sweatequitypod.com, Sweat Equity Podcast on Apple, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Google.
Do we have a sponsorship or something with that?
Yeah,
We got to follow up on these things.
That's another one.
that's
of my
me.
Goals.
That's on me.
That's another one of my goals. I would love to have someone sponsor my podcast.
Yeah.
We'll get you in touch with our advertising company if you want to do at least what we're doing, like the Express VPN. We'll hook you up with them. That's fine.
Thank you.
And then anything else? Anything else?
VPN, separate entity.
We work through an ad agency called Veritone One that gives us. You can go, hey, I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal. We'll take that offer. But it's all affiliate links.
Affiliate
So
marketing.
yeah, so it's affiliate links. So we only get a kickback when they use the link. But it is what it is right now.
Nice bonus.
But my question is that VPN separate from Norton VPN? Because I know there's another
Yes.
one.
Yes.
It is separate,
Yeah.
okay. I prefer yours actually.
Express VPN, it's solid.
Offer code SWEAT.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
tell you to say it again?
You're great.
That-
I forgot. I have worse ADHD than Sarina. Anything else? Did I forget anything?
That's it.
All right, we'll close this
Thanks
out.
for listening.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for going live. How about you close this out? Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
I'm also, my other job is to be cute. Bye.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
My other job is to be cute.
Yeah.